Hey Bears fans, we're back with an exclusive video and the latest updates on our beloved Chicago Bears. Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. That way, you'll always stay up to date with breaking news and exclusive content. The sports world has been buzzing nonstop after Josh Allen's recent comments about the Chicago Bears, and honestly, nobody saw this coming. In an interview that quickly went viral, Allen's words seemed to walk a tightrope between admiration and critique, leaving fans in total suspense. He started off by acknowledging the Bears' history, their legendary moments, and the grit that has defined the team over decades, painting a picture that was almost nostalgic. But as he spoke, there was a subtle shift in his tone, a hint of frustration mixed with honesty, something that caught everyone off guard. Analysts and fans alike immediately began dissecting every single phrase, trying to understand whether Allen's comments were more of a compliment or a jab. It wasn't just about the words themselves. It was about the context, the timing, and the fact that someone of Allen's stature was openly discussing a rival team in a way that was both flattering and critical. Social media exploded with clips, threads, and memes, creating a conversation that spanned far beyond casual football chatter, turning into a full-blown debate that had fans from both sides weighing in. Every network and podcast started covering it, with headlines screaming, "Josh Allen reacts to Bears," as if this single moment was a seismic shift in the NFL landscape. What made this moment even more shocking is the duality of his message. Allen didn't shy away from pointing out flaws in the Bears' gameplay, highlighting moments where he felt the team lacked consistency or made decisions that cost them games. Yet, right alongside these critiques, he offered praise for the organization's resilience and the raw talent that still exists on the roster, creating a narrative that was anything but simple. Fans trying to parse his tone quickly realized that Allen was walking a line that very few players dare to walk publicly, acknowledging the challenges while still showing respect. The intrigue wasn't just in what he said, but in how he said it, the inflection, the pauses, the almost casual delivery that somehow made the critique sting and the praise shine at the same time. Analysts on every channel tried to predict whether this would fuel rivalries, motivate Bears players, or even impact future matchups, adding layers of speculation that made the conversation feel like it was spiraling out of control. The balance of critique and compliment seemed intentional, as if Allen was sending a message that only those paying close attention would fully grasp. Some fans cheered, some groaned, and some just sat back, stunned, unsure whether to feel defensive or appreciative. The layers of meaning in his words created a ripple effect, making his short interview feel more like a headline-grabbing press conference. It was exactly the kind of moment that turns casual discussions into heated debates, the kind that dominates locker rooms, social media, and living rooms alike. Even more intriguing was the timing of Allen's remarks. The NFL season is heating up, and the Bears are currently under the microscope due to some uneven performances and roster questions. To hear Allen weigh in publicly, someone who is considered one of the league's elite quarterbacks, was like adding gasoline to an already volatile fire. People began speculating about whether this was strategic, whether Allen had been tipped off by insiders, or if this was just a candid moment of honesty from a player who doesn't usually mince words. Podcasts began breaking down his every word, replaying the clips hundreds of times to capture the nuances. Fans debated whether Allen's comments were meant to challenge the Bears to step up or simply to offer a realistic, measured opinion from a peer who knows the game inside out. Memes and highlight reels exploded across platforms, capturing not just the words, but the expressions, the tone, the subtle smirks, and head tilts that seemed to give away even more than the actual statements. Sports betting forums saw activity spike, with some speculating that Allen's words could hint at future matchups, player moves, or psychological warfare ahead of key games. In a way, this wasn't just an interview. It was a catalyst for narrative building, turning a few sentences into a story that fans couldn't stop analyzing. The ripple effect was instantaneous and widespread, showing just how powerful a single candid statement from a star athlete can be. The reaction from Bears fans was just as intense. Some were defensive, accusing Allen of disrespecting a team that has struggled but still fights hard week after week. Others appreciated the honesty, claiming it was refreshing to hear a rival acknowledge both strengths and weaknesses in a balanced way. The discussion transcended typical team loyalties, opening up debates about professionalism, player respect, and how athletes publicly discuss opponents. Social media polls started trending, asking fans if they agreed or disagreed with Allen's assessment. Interviews with former players and analysts added layers of interpretation, with some praising Allen for being direct, while others warned that his comments could unintentionally motivate the Bears in the coming weeks. The mix of admiration and critique created tension, uncertainty, and excitement simultaneously, making the NFL fan base feel like they were part of an unfolding drama rather than a simple sports discussion. It was this tension that fueled endless debates, highlight videos, and opinion pieces, turning a short commentary into a phenomenon that dominated conversation for days. Every angle, every nuance, and every interpretation became a topic of interest, proving that Allen's words carried more weight than most would have predicted. Media outlets jumped on the story, framing it in ways that magnified the drama. Headlines ranged from alarmist to playful, each interpretation seeking clicks and engagement, but all highlighting the central fact. Josh Allen had publicly dissected the Bears in a way that was both flattering and biting. Analysts compared the remarks to historical rivalries, dissecting the potential impact on team morale, playoff matchups, and even the league's narrative around quarterback leadership. Social media comment sections became battlegrounds, with fans from different teams debating Allen's intent, his credibility, and what it meant for the NFL's competitive landscape. Every news segment felt like a cliffhanger, with anchors emphasizing the reaction aspect as if Allen had delivered a bombshell revelation. The story had legs because it wasn't a straightforward critique. It was layered, personal, and insightful, revealing a lot about Allen's perspective, his respect for the game, and his willingness to speak candidly about a rival. Rumors started flying about potential responses from Bears players, and speculation grew that locker rooms across the league were buzzing with anticipation. The story became not just about the words, but about the power dynamics, rivalries, and psychological chess of professional football. And of course, fans began creating their own narratives, interpreting Allen's tone, inflection, and body language as clues to hidden meanings. Some suggested he was subtly calling out coaching decisions, while others argued he was praising the next generation of Bears talent that could rise under pressure. The online discussions reached fever pitch, with forums dissecting clips frame by frame, noting micro-expressions that seemed to betray his true feelings. Every play, every throw, and every past encounter between Allen and the Bears suddenly felt like context, feeding the speculation. Sports commentators on YouTube and podcasts turned a short interview into a multi-part series of analyses, breaking down everything from phrasing to implied messages. The effect was hypnotic. Fans couldn't look away, trapped in a cycle of rumor, interpretation, and anticipation. Allen's words, though brief, had become a catalyst for storytelling, a touchstone for discussion, and a source of endless curiosity. It was clear that whatever the true intent behind his comments, the ripple effects were profound, leaving both admiration and critique lingering in the air like a storm waiting to hit. The ripple effect of Josh Allen's remarks didn't stop at social media. It quickly permeated locker rooms, podcasts, and sports talk shows nationwide. Rumors began circulating that Bears players had heard the comments and were meeting behind closed doors to discuss what was said and whether it should be taken as motivation or insult. Analysts speculated endlessly about the psychological impact on the team, arguing that Allen's dual message, simultaneously critical yet complimentary, could either push them to rise to the challenge or rattle their confidence. Fans dissected every potential implication, from possible on-field strategies to personal rivalries, and every segment of the interview was replayed hundreds of times. The conversation shifted from mere opinion to full-blown narrative building, with sports commentators framing Allen's words as a potential game-changer in terms of team morale. Memes, GIFs, and viral clips spread like wildfire, some highlighting the praise, some exaggerating the critique, turning Allen's comments into an ongoing cultural moment. Even casual NFL observers found themselves drawn into the story, debating whether Allen's insight reflected true talent evaluation or if it was a calculated move to establish dominance in the league's ongoing quarterback narrative. The rumors and speculations only fueled curiosity, making it impossible to ignore how one short statement could create waves far beyond a simple interview, blending reality, perception, and pure fan imagination. As the days went by, the Bears' locker room reportedly became a hotbed of speculation, with players internally debating whether Allen's words were fair critique or sly, psychological maneuvering. Coaches were rumored to have called meetings to address the comments, aiming to transform potential tension into team unity. Sports journalists hinted that insiders were leaking mixed reactions from within the organization, ranging from players feeling motivated to some quietly resenting the outside commentary. Analysts dissected every angle, noting how Allen's stature as an elite quarterback gave extra weight to his opinions, making even casual remarks carry profound influence. Fans began drawing comparisons to historical rivalries where star athletes publicly critiqued opponents, creating a narrative that extended beyond this single season. Online forums and Reddit threads exploded with theories, some claiming Allen's praise was a strategic compliment meant to subtly provoke the Bears, while others argued it was a genuine acknowledgement of the team's resilience. The blend of rumor, speculation, and reaction created an atmosphere in which the interview became more than words. It became a psychological event, a story that each side interpreted through its own lens of fandom, loyalty, and expectation. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Chicago Bears. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Meanwhile, social media chatter escalated as highlight reels of Allen's gameplay against the Bears resurfaced, adding context and fueling further speculation. Fans revisited every past matchup, noting moments where Allen's skill had either dominated or been challenged by the Bears' defense, overlaying this history with the recent comments to create intricate storylines. Analysts suggested that Allen's remarks might even influence future game strategies, arguing that the psychological impact could shift the Bears' approach to matchups. Podcasts produced special episodes breaking down his tone, word choice, and even facial expressions, debating whether the praise was genuine or layered with irony. Memes proliferated, blending humor with analysis, capturing the duality of Allen's message in ways that were both viral and insightful. Casual sports fans, who may have only glanced at the interview, were now part of the narrative, debating whether this was a clever tactic, a candid assessment, or simply the musings of a star player. In essence, what should have been a short commentary transformed into a multi-dimensional spectacle, with speculation feeding speculation, turning Allen's words into a self-perpetuating cycle of discussion that dominated sports discourse. Rumors about potential responses from the Bears began to gain traction, with insiders suggesting that certain players were eager to publicly rebut or counter Allen's statements, while others were rumored to embrace the comments as fuel to improve. Social media amplified these speculations, with trending hashtags inviting fans to predict the response or share imagined scenarios of post-game confrontations. Analysts debated whether a public response could backfire, giving Allen even more narrative power, or whether silence might be interpreted as weakness. Interviews with former players added layers of historical comparison, citing moments where rival players' comments had ignited legendary matchups or motivated entire franchises. Every new rumor seemed to intertwine with old footage, statistical analysis, and expert commentary, creating an intricate web where fans, journalists, and insiders all played a part. The intrigue intensified as debates grew about whether Allen's approach was purely candid or subtly strategic, suggesting that a single statement could have ripple effects across team morale, media cycles, and fan engagement. Each theory, each clip, and each discussion only amplified the suspense, creating a sense that the story was still unfolding and that every reaction could alter the narrative trajectory. Speculation even reached the coaching sphere, with analysts suggesting that both teams might consider psychological strategies influenced by Allen's comments. Could this prompt the Bears to adjust their defensive schemes? Might it inspire deeper focus during practices or team meetings? Conversations emerged around how elite athletes use media commentary as leverage, and Allen's remarks became a case study in blending critique with respect to maintain credibility while subtly influencing opponents. Fans dissected every potential outcome, from on-field adjustments to locker room dynamics, crafting stories that were part fact, part theory, and part pure imagination. Podcasts ran multi-episode series, breaking down not just what was said, but why it was said and how the ripple effect could shape league narratives. Every speculative angle was amplified by social media, with fans passionately debating whether Allen's words would haunt the Bears, energize them, or simply fade into the background. Even casual observers felt compelled to weigh in, transforming the interview into a spectacle where rumor, analysis, and storytelling blended seamlessly, turning a few sentences into a full-blown saga that captivated the NFL universe. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Chicago Bears, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.